Hey coaches, welcome to episode 12, the best questions to ask during a coaching session. So the reason that I'm filming all of this for you today is I actually asked this exact question in a coaching consultation last week by a guy. And he was like, I'm so confused. Which questions do you ask in a coaching session? So here we are. I'm going to share with you all today the exact questions I ask and the order that I ask them in a 60-minute coaching session. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Krista Kathleen. I am a certified business coach and life coach, and I am also a coach trainer for Inner Glow Circle. We are the #1 coach training company in the world for female entrepreneurs. Okay, so something new that I wanted to start on this show is actually doing a shout out for the current students that we have going through coach training. They're always sharing all these amazing wins that they're getting from the program in our private Facebook group. And I was like, you know what? We need to share the love. And so I wanted to read one from one of our students this week. So her name is Audra McClellan, and she said, folks, I'm 2 out of 2 nailing my first discovery calls. 2 paying clients starting in June, and more in the pipeline. Wish me luck. This client almost ended the call as a soft yes and wanted time to think about it. Before I let her go, I asked her, just out of curiosity, what's keeping that soft yes from shifting into a full body hell yes? Her answer was worthiness. When she realized the only thing holding her back was her own belief in her worth, she decided that she needed to commit right there and then. She literally talked herself into it. I would have told her that coaching can help with that. So takeaway, powerful questioning works for sales calls too. Hold the client in her highest light as the woman who completely desires and deserves to invest in herself, and coach her to rise into that. It also helps that I'm starting with a price that I fully 100% believe in and that I feel fairly supported by too. #winning. So great job, Audra. Obviously, everything that we're teaching you in coach training, you're applying, and you can see how it helped you to get your first paying client. So amazing. All right, back to the training. Let me pull up my guide that I made for you all today. And also, I created a free, beautiful worksheet for you with these exact questions. That way you can actually hold it in your hand the next time you're on a coaching session. So right below the video, you can download the worksheet. And I totally think you should, because my assistant worked so hard on it to make it really pretty for you all. So yeah, make sure that you download the worksheet that we're going to go through today on the video. And also just remember as well, use this as a guide. This is something that I've formulated from going through coach training myself and being a trainer, and then also pouring a little bit of my own energy into it. So some of these questions you might like, some might not resonate with you. So you can feel free to switch things around a little bit or switch the questions up. Again, we want this to really sound like it's coming from you and like you're just not reading it off of a list at the end of the day. Alrighty then, so the first way that I like to start out my coaching calls is celebrating a win with the client. You may notice that people are coming in stressed and they've been rushing around, or maybe they've had a really hard week and they're like, oh, this is going wrong and this is going wrong and this sucks and this sucks. And that can really bring a negative energy into the coaching call. So I like to just stop and slow them down and ask this question of what's a win you want to celebrate together from this past week? And people aren't used to celebrating themselves and they aren't used to looking for the positive in things. So if you can teach them this skill, this is really, really powerful, and it just sets a nice tone for the rest of the coaching call. The next thing I like to do is I like to check in with the progress of the goals and the commitments that they made from the last coaching session. So 2 questions I do for this is what went well from your goals you were working on last week and what didn't go so well. I think it's really important to teach people that success comes from failures and comes from setbacks. And so it's okay to talk about the things that didn't go well. You're not going to punish them or you're not going to get them in trouble. You're just there to explore what didn't work so you can work through that together. And then a lot of times this might turn into an actual coaching request, or they might want to talk about something different altogether. So then these next 4 questions is going to be actually grabbing a complete coaching request, and make sure you don't skip the 4th question. The 4th question is the most important question because it just summarizes everything they tell you and gets to the deeper root of the issue. So the 4 questions are, how do you want to spend our time today? What do you want to walk away with from our session? How will we know that you got what you needed? And what larger issue does this request address, or what's really going on here? Again, that one tends to get skipped, and it's so important to know the bigger thing. So for example, someone might come to you and say, I want to lose 15 pounds. And I'm just going to tell you, it's never about losing the weight. There's always something more. And so when you ask that last question, what's really going on here? They might say, well, I just don't feel confident in myself. I just don't like myself very much. So then you can really focus in on that confidence. And so these next set of questions is going to help really address the relationship with the thing they just told you about. So you can say, okay, what's your current relationship with confidence? Then I like to take a little bit of a step into their past. I don't want to stay too much in the past because then that starts to get into the therapy role. So then I'll say, where did this relationship with confidence come from? And then after that, we want to move them forward. We want to move them into possibility, because coaching is all about moving people forward with their goals. So I'd say, okay, what kind of relationship do you desire to create with confidence? And then usually that will take you off into this nice, beautiful discussion for the remaining bulk of your coaching call. And as the role of coach, you're going to do a lot of active listening here. You're going to be taking some notes in the background and then asking some occasional power questions that are open-ended to gain more insight and to move the client forward, and then just give a little bit of advice as needed. But remember, it's not about us sharing our story or not about us telling them what to do. That's the consultation role. And anytime you give advice, you always want to ask for permission first. Is it okay if I share something with you? Or is it okay if I make a suggestion? And then with about 10 minutes left, I like to wrap up the session. And I like to check in and ask, are you feeling complete with your coaching request? And if they say yes, I trust them and I move forward into the action plan. If they say no, then I say, okay, what did we miss that you would like to go over in next week's session? And then you can take notes of that in your note system and then bring it up in next week's session. The next part, creating the action plan. Don't skip this part. This is really important. So I'll ask, what do you want to commit to doing this week and by when? So make sure that you get a SMART goal from them. So a SMART goal is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. So someone might say, I want to be more present this week. That's not a good SMART goal because I don't know how we would be able to measure the success of a goal like being more present. So the way we would get that into a SMART goal is saying, okay, what does being more present look like to you? And then they might say, well, I would like to spend more time with my family and not being distracted by other things. And then you could help them to commit to maybe 3 times over the next week. They spend an hour each night with their family and all electronics are turned off, no cell phones, and they're just talking or they're playing a game or doing something together. And then obviously that's very measurable. And then don't forget about the accountability piece with each goal as well. This is a huge part of why people are hiring us as their coaches, for the accountability, for the follow through. And so again, we don't want to assign or tell people what to do. We want to co-create. And one of the best ways to co-create is to ask them first, what kind of accountability would you like with these goals? And they might not understand that question at first. And so I always like to give an example of like, well, do you want to check in with me after you did the goal? Or do you want to send a selfie of you're doing the thing that you committed to? And then that way you get to celebrate together with them. and also make sure that they're following through. Because a lot of times, just because people say they'll do things on the call does not necessarily mean they will do them after the call. Trust me, I've learned from years and years of working with coaching clients. And then you want to end the session on a positive note. So I like to do the powerful question that I learned from the Coaching Habit book. What was the most useful thing for you today from our session? So you have to remember that the human brain can only absorb so much new information. And so I just want to make sure that they're walking away with at least one important new concept that they can implement into their life moving forward. And again, you can't answer that for them. They need to answer that for themselves. And then my last and final question is, what can I acknowledge you for today? I mean, I can give them compliments and praise, but again, I want to teach my clients how to really start to acknowledge themselves. And I want them to teach me what they want to be acknowledged for. Okay, that's it. That is usually how I lead a coaching session and the questions that I ask. I hope that that was super valuable for you. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because every week I put out new training videos for you to help you build your coaching business. I also just wanted to let you know too, we've created a VIP waitlist for our fall coach training program through Inner Glow Circle. So below the video, I'll give you a link where you can sign up for the waitlist, and you'll be one of the first people to know when we open our early bird special rates. So you'll get a discount, you'll save some money. Our fall training program starts this October, and I would really, really love for you to join me. I'm going to be one of the trainers. I teach the Monday night class, and I can teach you all kinds of cool stuff about how to be a really great coach, how to find clients, how to make money from running a coaching business, and all other kinds of support that you would need to know to be a successful coach. All right, that was it for today. Thank you so much for following along. And don't forget to download the free worksheet. The link is below this video. All right, bye.